In this example, we are looking at a medley of things. We have a division or fraction bar in our problem. We have the entire quantity being raised to a power. We have things we can simplify. So let's get into the example. I'm going to dissect everything, so I'm showing you more or less how your brain should be separating it. We have 5 over 20 in here. We have x to the third over x in here. We have y over y to the fifth in here. These are all being multiplied by one another. And we can reduce anything from the numerator with anything from the denominator. The 20 in our denominator, don't forget, that's really 5 times 4. So this 5 and this 5 can knock each other out. You're always left with that little 1 up there. You're never left with nothing, remember. So we're really left with 1 over 4. X to the third, well, that's x times x times x. And x and an x knock each other out. X to the second is left. If you want to put it over the 1, you could do that. On the third fraction right over here, y over y to the fifth, well, that 1y reduces with one of the y's in our denominator, and you're left with 1 over y to the fourth power. Now all of that is to the fourth power. What could you do from here? Again, this is stuff that should be more or less happening in your brain, not necessarily on your paper in this fashion. On top, really what's left is x to the second. On bottom, or in the denominator, 4 times y to the fourth power. Maybe you jumped right to that step over there. Now, when we raise something that's already raised to a power to another power, that's called the power of a power. To get more of detail and explanation on the difference between power of a power and power to a power, when you go to the playlist at the end of this video and you click through to that, look at number 9. Very important concept. I'm sure there's a lot of teachers that misuse the language, and maybe you could catch your teacher misusing the terminology and correct them. So that would be nice and make everyone a little bit smarter for it, you know? You're welcome. So x to the second to the fourth will be x to the 8 over 4, don't forget, is also being raised to the fourth power. And I get it, 4 to the fourth, maybe that's a little big of a problem to do in your head, but we'll be all right. We'll be all right. Times y to the 16th, right? Now, what is 4 to the fourth power? I hope you have memorized 4 to the third power, because we have been dealing with cubes since we were factoring sums and differences of cubes early this year. So 4 to the third power times 4 is 4 to the fourth power, right? And 4 to the third power times 4 is also 4 to the third times 2 times 2. Times 2 is easy. It's doubling. It's not that heavy. We can do it. 4 to the third, I hope you have memorized, is 64. People that try to do it make mistakes when they're in the moment. I even just 2 days ago, yesterday, saw someone, they were like, all right, 4 squared 16, and then they went to 48 because they multiplied by 3 instead of times another 4. That's normal. Those are mistakes that you're going to make. But the more you have memorized and tucked away in your long-term memory instead of your short-term or your working memory, the better. So please trust me. So now we have 64. We want to double that, and we want to double that in our heads without a calculator. 64 times 2. 60 and 60 is 120. 4 and 4 is 8. So that part in your head, again, you don't have to write on paper like this. I'm doing this to help you. You're welcome. Is 128. And then we're going to double that. If you need to double 100 with another 100, that's 200. 20 and 20 is 40. 8 and 8 is 16. 40 and 16 is not 46. Don't get sloppy. It's 56. So final 256. Lovely for that part, right? So that goes into our denominator over here. Final answer is x to the 8th over 256 y to the 16th. If you just kind of jump to the end of this video to see what the answer was, and you're like, oh, whoops, I just put 256 on bottom or on top and I meant on bottom, or I made something negative, or blah, blah, blah. No, you didn't just do that. You messed up and you don't know what you're doing. So rewind, watch, learn, and stop being wrong. Okay? Sorry, tough love. To check out number 19, click over here to go to the playlist. And if you want to go look at number 9, that one's pretty good to talk about. You could jump over there. Otherwise, do what you got to do. Keep checking, keep practicing, and keep getting better. Adios.